The Kuat Transfer is one of my favorite bike racks, and it's definitely an entry-level rack. And if you have a 2022 Chevrolet Tahoe, you're in the right spot. We're gonna be taking a look at it on this vehicle specifically. The nice thing about this thing is we have two different types. We have one that can fit in an 1.25" or a 2" and that's gonna give us 40 pounds per bike. But you can get just the 2" hitch receiver option of the Transfer, and it'll go all the way up to 60 pounds per bike. So for some of those electric bikes, you could use this one in the 2" only configuration and be able to get those e-bikes to and from the trail. The nice thing about this is we can tilt it away with the bikes installed. What I like to do is kind of fold this up a little bit and just use my foot to push this in, and then it'll go down. And depending on the vehicle, this Tahoe, we should be able to get the hatch open, but it all just depends on the handlebars. So we have pretty wide handlebars right now, but this is enough for us to be able to either grab some of our gear or load up some groceries if you just keep your bike with you all the time. So it's not completely disabling our access to the back hatch. It still gives us a little bit, but we will still be able to open up this back glass and grab stuff from there. So that's kind of nice. Whenever we put it back up, it'll just snap into place like that, and you're ready to go. When it comes to the width of our tires, this cradle right here is only going to allow anything under 3 inches. But notice how it pivots like this, and that's going to accommodate for wheelbases up to 50 inches. So the one we have right now is about 50 inches in wheelbase. Fits on there perfectly fine. When it comes to the different wheel diameters, if you have a larger wheel like this is a 29. So anywhere from 29 all the way down to 18, the Transfer is going to work with. And what allows that to happen is we do have a lot of travel with our wheel hook, and this is going to accommodate for some of the kiddos' bikes as well. So you don't really have to worry about your bike's not really working with this. If you do have a carbon fiber frame bike, it is going to be an ideal rack for that, just because it has no frame contact. Even if you do have just a pretty painted bike like we do, you don't have to worry about it getting all scratched up, which I like. Another thing that's really nice is getting the bikes on the rack. Getting the bikes on or off the rack is the same exact process, just in reverse order. But what I really like about it is the U design. So I can really go up to that bike and get right up close and personal with it, so it's not too difficult for me to get it on or off. So I always swing that out. I always start with the strap in the back, just because it doesn't really hold the bike upright. It just helps with that vertical movement that you see whenever you're bouncing down the road. And then you want to put a hand on your bike, and even if you do have gloves or big stubby fingers, the little trigger is plenty big and you get plenty of leverage, so it doesn't take a whole lot of effort. Slide that out, and we're right up close and personal to our bike, so it makes it really easy just to walk up. Comparing that to some other racks, it's really difficult with that center mast. You have to kind of wiggle around it. With this, you go right up to it, and it's super easy, on or off. So I really do like that U design. It's kind of specific just to the Transfer, and I think that's really where this thing shines. It's probably one of the easier racks to load up and take off. So whenever I'm done, I usually fold this in, take our hooks like this, just so it's not going to move at all, and do the same with the other side, like that. This rack is probably not one you want to keep the arms out if you're at a park and you're parked in a parking lot, just because somebody could clip you if they were going into their spot. But before I fold it up, let's go ahead and take some measurements. So from the bumper to the farthest point, it's about 37 inches. We can cut that down a little bit just by using that same exact little lever that we use to tilt it away, and this is going to cut it down quite a bit. So from the bumper to the end of that lever, it's about 14 inches. Not a whole lot of length added, so that's nice for parking garages, or if you don't want to take it out and you want to keep it in your garage. Another thing that comes with it, you're going to get a bike cable, which is nice, so you can loop it around some of your bikes, and then we can put it in this little hole on one side and then use our keys that are included to lock it up. So you can leave your bikes on there and have that peace of mind if you're traveling, or you just like to keep it on all the time. Bikes can get a little expensive, so we want to protect the investment. Luckily, this comes with all of that, which is nice. So when it comes to this rack and this vehicle, the Tahoe does have a backup camera, and it's right in the middle. So this is probably going to give you the most amount of visibility whenever you're backing up compared to any other rack, just because of this U-shaped design. I do like how we can kind of add to it if you really wanted to. You can pop these caps off and you can get a one bike add-on if you really wanted to. So if your love for the sport grows, you have multiple bikes, or you just find a friend on the trail, you can transform this rack to be able to carry that. So like we were saying before, this one does work with two different types of hitches. It's going to work with the 1 1/4 inch, which the Tahoe doesn't have an option for that, but it's also going to work with the 2 inch. So this little sleeve makes that possible. If we did take that off, it will easily convert to that 1 1/4 inch. It does come with a pin and a clip here, and it doesn't come with a lock for the rack, but there is a special little tool you need to get the anti-rattle bolts all tightened down. So odds are people aren't going to have that tool in their truck. So I think it's going to be nice and secure. And the anti-rattle device does do a great job of just keeping the whole entire rack completely one with our hitch receiver. So you're not going to hear it going down the road, and your bikes really aren't going to feel it either. At the end of the day, Kuat is the king of bike racks, in my opinion. You go to all these trailheads and stuff, and everybody who's really into the sport has a Kuat. And it's nice that they give a entry-level rack that's not going to really break the bank, but it does have a lot of those premium features. So if this is something that you think you are interested in, I think it's going to be a great choice for you. And I really do think it looks pretty good on this Tahoe. I don't know if it's just because the Tahoe's blacked out and the bike rack's black, but it just looks kind of cool on here. You know, if this is driving down the road, you know that they're definitely a biking kind of family, or just that kind of person. And that's pretty much it for a look at the Kuat Transfer on our 2022 Chevrolet Tahoe.